We have just officially closed the very first edition of CyberSec in Brussels.
Yeah.
What are your impressions?
Well, I was surprised first because when I got the invitation, I thought, oh, this is interesting. That's a Polish government association makes organize a conference in Brussels. I think this is an excellent initiative. And well, I could not assist to all the panels, but I think we had an interesting mix of topics around cybersecurity, of course, but also a mix of speakers, which I liked very much.
Within your European Parliament capacity, what is it that you're in charge of?
This is, well, so I am a vice chair of the Committee on Legal Affairs, and in the Legal Committee well, I have to start first that the European Parliament has not the right of initiative. We cannot make a proposal of a regulation. But if we want the Commission to come forward with a proposal, then we can make a report and call the Commission to come forward with a regulation. And that was the initiative, so on legal and ethical implications of robotics. But we had a working group for several months, and then the drafting, we are slow in the European Parliament. So, and now, well, the report was adopted, and now we are waiting for the proposal of the Commission, the communication of the Commission on artificial intelligence.
In my early studies of commercials, TV advertising, I remember the 1984 commercial of Apple. In that commercial, during Super Bowl games, Apple tried to scare some people, use the Big Brother metaphors to make some people think that we're facing a very dangerous age, one where a lot of things will be automated because of computers, and you will not be permitted to think independently because technology will take over.
Yeah.
Do you think we're approaching an era now where at a somewhat different level, but we're facing a similar perception problem?
Well, when I meet people, I think there are two folds of the coin. So you have these people, well, first of all, I think artificial intelligence and all the things that are happening can be very, very beneficial for humans. It will facilitate our life, and it gives us access to enormous amount of data. And where is a human who could do this mining and looking at information? And on the other hand, with all new technology, you have always fears. When you look at history, every time when new technology arises, there was fears, and some were justified. So the thing is, finally, I believe, well, it's up to us humans to decide and to organize how we want to interact with new technology.
If you look at the entire cyber debate across Europe now, would you describe yourself as an optimist or a pessimist looking into the future?
Oh, that's difficult. That depends on the days.
Depends on the weather, on the days, how
No,
freezing it is in late
on the
winter.
days and on the last contacts I had, when I had the impressive amount of money which goes to cybersecurity, and of course I think the attacks will always happen. There is no zero risk situation, so we will have to be very cautious, and companies will have to invest a lot of money. And what we didn't discuss, I think it's also about educate or train the people, because it's the weakest thing in the chain, which is the most vulnerable. So we need probably more awareness also of the large public on these issues.
Speaking of things that were not mentioned in the debate, when you look at the conference format like this, where very, very different walks of life, industries, branches, government levels meet and try to discuss along one big topic, cybersecurity, if you were to think about the conference like today, what would be the single outcome, the single product that you would like to be, that you would like to emerge from a conference like that? Just imagine at the end of the day, you really want to feel happy about the day's work. What would it be? What would make you happy after a full day of discussions of so many people from so many industries?
Well, if we could agree on a way forward, because in many discussions where there are really very controversial positions. So I think what on cybersecurity is a good thing is that everyone agrees that we have to be very cautious, that we have to invest, to understand better, and that we have to work together.
Would you agree that some countries or larger communities, regional communities, actually need a powerful wake-up call in some situations? Because if we go to the east, if we look at countries like Ukraine, on a daily basis, a country like Ukraine experiences the full complexity of cybersecurity challenges. But in Western Europe, most people think it's mostly about stealing money. But it is essentially about, it is essentially after the last American elections that the Western world has woken up to the damaging potential of playing information and building narratives in a way that benefits specific groups.
You are right, yes. In all the discussions in the parliament now, it's about fake news, about American elections. So this is rising awareness. And finally, normally people say a crisis is always good for something. So at least maybe we will have more progress, and the Commission has also identified cybersecurity as one of the priority actions. So this is a good thing.